That's
Yeah,
for you.
actually, that's what you see. Yeah, right there.
Hungry.
So I was going to come back, I think, come meet you a couple days ago, and I know things are pretty tense. So I met with these gentlemen here, and thought I'd come over and say hi. Going okay?
Yeah, I feel really good. It's nice to finally meet you. Finally, somebody has come talk to me, so that does alleviate a little stress.
Well, I know we had some deputies that were out talking to you last week. Just making sure you're okay.
Thai guard, he's generally a good man.
He is. How's everybody else doing? Okay. Not so good.
They want him to go home. We're tired. I just want to break the ice. He's not going to resign, but he's going to work with you in the community, okay? I just want to break the ice.
How are you going to work with us?
Yeah. So there's a lot of misconception and misinformation out there about me and who I am. And it's understandable.
We understand that. There's a lot of miscommunication and misinformation about us as well.
Communication's hard. Maybe not like this, but I mean, like, you know, in the greater scheme of things, within the, especially social media, I don't think it's very good. Some of the stuff on there is just not true.
Like right on the Siskiyou County Sheriff's Facebook page.
Yeah, doesn't matter where it is.
It
You can try to
matter.
block people all day, but you can't block everybody. I mean, I'm a sheriff, but I'm also a human. So,
A human who needs water, right?
you need water?
We all need water.
So, I'm not going to resign. I know I read that from you, but I'm here to talk with you, and I'd like to talk with you one-on-one at some point.
At one point.
If you live here, anybody, you're part of the community. We do have issues. We do have issues about law. We do have issues about, you know, we have ordinances. There's lawful ways to get structures that are permitted. Those kinds of things we've talked about this before. But there's a way to achieve, I think, a peaceful community, and you would find most people that I can think of, with all of us, that would want to live peacefully. So we can get past that.
You told everybody, go after the water. You went after the water. People have threatened us with arson. We've had huge fire and they're very suspicious. And now we've lost one of our brothers. And these tensions have been escalated. I was over there months ago saying we need to reconcile. We need to reconcile before things get out of hand, before our communities can no longer come together in peace. That's why I sacrificed my own health for a final peaceful resolution. Now, the fact that you're here talking to me helps a little. But it's not just about me. It's about my community. So I tell you now, if you are willing to work with us, I'm going to hold you to your word.
So it's more than just me.
Oh, I agree. It's more than me too. We're the faces of whoever we represent.
Right. And water, you know, we could talk about water for a long time.
We
Probably.
can.
So, and I've mentioned this to everybody. Marijuana, one of my most talked about but least favorite things to talk about. I personally don't care about marijuana. As far as if you like it or if you don't like it, I don't care. People think, well, he must hate marijuana. I hate what marijuana has brought to the community, associated with violence that we've seen against, I will say, the Hmong community, with the Asian community. And it hurts everybody when there's crime, no matter what it's from. I think we can all agree with that. So we have laws in the county against marijuana, and if people want to change that, I mean, there's a lawful way of going about that to try to get, you know, your opinions heard with any of us. But let me just finish. But with that, you know, what the county asks and what I would ask as a sheriff, in order to be able to take care of everybody, no matter who they are, is that we have compliance. And I think with compliance, no matter what it is, that's how we can all live peacefully.
And let me say this. If you didn't care about marijuana, you know, there's laws. You and the Board of Supervisors created a law to ban water from us. You know we don't have wells out there. If you said there are laws, you, not only you, but the Board of Supervisors actively created a law to deny us water. Now, I say to you, if you're going to go after illegal cannabis, why didn't you go after illegal cannabis? Why did you say, go after the water? Why is it that, since you came into office, we've had tons of discriminatory actions against our elders? Why is it that your very own Facebook page, like you said, social media, has been galvanizing the surrounding community against us? In fact, it has almost seemed like you have been stoking tensions. You come to me, I have been stoking no tensions. As a matter of fact, Mr. Simons, I have people like you come to me every day talking about the injustices by the county. Is that right? Exactly. So you want to talk about law and order? Let's talk about morality. Let's talk about humanity. Law and order over humanity and morality doesn't sit well with me. You want to talk about crime? I've had people come up to me and say, there's so much gun violence here that's unreported because the police don't care. Now, I can't corroborate that. I can't prove that. But when 100 people come up to me, sitting, starving to death, telling me their story, I listen. So let me tell you something. If you want to be about law and order, I suggest you get your morality and your humanity in order, and then law can prosper.
So let me ask you this. Are opinions facts? Is your opinion a fact?
What opinion?
Well, on anything. So like, for example, if someone were to say that I was a racist, is that an opinion or is that a fact?
Let's look at the language. Let's look at what you use. Are we cartel? Are we mafia? No.
Right, but I'm just saying. So you're adding different things in there, which
I'm adding different things.
Well, no, you're into the circumstance. So let's go back a couple of things that you were addressing.
I am sorry, I'm not as sharp as I usually am, but go ahead.
No, you're sharp. You're good. You're fine. So the water issue. It is not. So drinking water. It's never been about drinking water. Okay, potable water and non-potable water, right? So the marijuana out there is primarily being grown with well water. And when it gets so bad, so picture this back, folks, as you maybe recall, when the Hmong came into the community, and also other people too.
Okay, I was going to say, we're generalizing the whole population.
Yeah, no.
Not just Hmongs,
Which is why I said other people.
after the fact.
Is when other people came into Mount Shasta Vista, the community was fairly small. It increased, marijuana increased, the demands increased, more water, it just became too much. Wells were going dry in the community. And again, back to, you mentioned something about morality, which morality is an interesting topic.
It is.
Because everybody has their own different morality, it seems.
Yes, sir.
And when I start challenging on something that is a moral, say, point, you might have a different opinion on that. I consider myself a moral person. You could think differently, and I would respect that right that you have. I don't want to have a relationship with anyone that is ongoing and comes across as hostile. the problem that we have, and you know, for anybody watching or anybody, you know, that is concerned with that, is if we can get to a place where marijuana is not what we center our lives around. I'm not saying that you all here, but if that could go away and the community, say, of Shasta Vista can be built, you know, a place that has permitted structures, that has permitted septic systems, permitted wells, and it looks like other communities. You know, right now though, what we see when we go out there is travel trailers and septic that's just right into the ground. And our concern too is that we don't want people living in that environment. And when that gets into the water, or if there's runoff, you know, chemicals and that, and the environment is important to us. So, what would be good, in my opinion, folks, is just let's get to a place where we can comply with our laws in the county and not make it about marijuana, but just working together, just like any other community.
So let's not make it about marijuana or race.
But
Race shouldn't even be ever
It
discussed.
shouldn't have never been
it
discussed.
shouldn't have, but it is. I'll refute that. Wells going dry. We have the numbers. It was 300,000 gallons for a community of thousands, while he used 6 million gallons a day for one hay farm. Yet our community of thousands is being scapegoated because of whatever it is they claim it is. You even said potable versus non-potable. Now the government is deciding what kind of water we can get. Now, when you said, again, it's not about marijuana, I agree, you didn't make it about marijuana anymore. Otherwise, we wouldn't have this conflict. You made it about water. You made it about besieging our community. And you want to say that we want to be communities in peace and prosperity and togetherness, but one of our brothers is dead. His dog is shot, his family is traumatized, and it's because of your escalation. So you want to talk about morality, you want to talk about law, your laws showed your morality. And it does not agree with mine, that's why I said I agree we have different levels of morality. So, and let me finish. You know, you say we should follow the laws, but you're the ones making the laws that are immoral. Potable versus non-potable, I don't care. You limit water, eventually you're gonna say, this is the only amount of potable water you can have. This is the only amount of drinking water you can have. Any other water you don't get a right to. Now when we start distinguishing water, distinguishing human rights, distinguishing the differences between our morality, which I disagree on some extent. I think some of us, all of us, have a sense of morality, like people shouldn't be murdered for trying to evacuate a fire. So if you keep saying things like we can't have a relationship if there's no peace and prosperity, it was you who denied that peace and prosperity. You, the board of supervisors, your discriminatory tactics by your deputies. It's a one-sided issue here, and the one side is that you guys came after us with everything you got to deny our humanity, and we said, okay, we're gonna show you how human we are. Even Tigard said, you're more human than I am, sir, and I said, I know.
Well, I think there are a lot of points that you make, which you can have. I mean, any of us, I mean, we can all have these opinions. I would never want you to think differently than how you believe. I don't think anyone would want that. What I hope to accomplish here, either now or in the future, is that, you know, there's multiple sides to everything. And having good dialogue, being able to discuss things openly, people feeling comfortable about government, if that's, you know, even a possible thing. I know, I don't mean local government, but there's always a thing about the public and the government, and how does that work. And I will say that things. Just going back to things that you said about me. I don't make laws, as you know. I enforce laws. That's what law enforcement does. And again, you mentioned a couple of different things about the shooting, and the language that you choose to use are language like murder, and they're strong words that you are entitled to. But in time, with a proper investigation, I hope that you and other people will come to a place to see the truth and understand the steps that investigators took and to find out what happened. Because if I were you, I would want to know what happened. Any of us. And you should be asking questions like that. I just ask, obviously for time, of reasonableness, and I think recognizing that we're all human, and there's nothing that changes that. Now we want to get into law like we were mentioning before, and you mentioned about water being wasted and whatnot. I mean, we don't have to now go into intricacies about that, but it comes back to what's lawful and what's not. And what do we do with that? I mean, I don't want to get distracted on other things, but just recognize from a point of view, it's really about us all equally complying with the law, whatever they may be. And that's a huge part that I suggest, that as just a consideration when we talk.
Okay, so what you're talking about lawfulness, but like I said, you said go after the water when you got sworn into office. When you said go after the water, they went after the water. You guys went after the water. The water, fine. That's part of the issue, but the main part is the shooting death of our own brother. We just want body cams. We want to know why the dog was held from their family, why we had to apply political force to even get that, why the animal shelter said that they were going to adopt it. I mean, where are the body cameras? That's so simple to release to us. I even said, if you release the body cameras and it corroborated the story of the police, we would accept it. We would say he made a fatal mistake, we are sorry, and we must move on, and we will help the family grieve as best we can. And you want to say, an investigation is going on. The investigation could go on still and releasing the body cams. I think there was some kind of case in 2015 in Chicago, I believe, where they said, it doesn't matter if the investigation's ongoing, you still have to release the body cams. Now, that is the issue here. Your water, when you said go after the water, you escalated the tensions. When your deputies keep coming onto our private property and private roads and assailing us and lying, the escalation intensified. When locals were threatening us with mass arson and they believed it was legal on Siskiyou County web pages like your page, escalations escalated. I'm using different words, I'm sorry, but it all culminated to the point where police fatally shot our brother. You can end all this by releasing body cameras. You can end all this by having video evidence corroborate the story that you've been peddling in the news. That is the simple request. That is a very simple request. If we don't get that information, then we want a federal independent investigation on the issue. Because we have seen for the past year, we can't trust local government. We can't trust you. Maybe now we can if we have a dialogue, but in the meantime, no, we cannot trust you. Not only that, the arrest of many Hmong residents going into our subdivision to defend property and life, and also the people who were already in there being arrested, charged with misdemeanors, being stopped for having 275 gallons of water in their truck, when you guys knew we were fighting that fire day and night. Now, I did this because while we were fighting that fire day and night,
propaganda from your office and from your mouth and from the government specifically was spreading propaganda that we were getting in the way. How could we get in the way when we were too busy fighting that fire? And I told everybody, no, I want the truth to be heard. That's why I'm here now. So if you want us to have dialogue and for us to come together, we want body cams. We want that water ban rescinded. And we want an investigation. An investigation to all this that's been going on. We can talk with the state attorney general. We can talk with the board of supervisors. We can talk with you. But we have seen for the past year how you guys have been treating us. We know that. We've noticed it. We've had police cruisers waiting at stores waiting to ticket us. We've had police waiting at public accesses of water waiting for us, intimidating us, threatening us. I've had sheriff's deputies come here and try to intimidate me. Obviously, I'm a hunger strike prepared to die. I'm not intimidated. Okay. So if you are willing to meet our demands, then we can have that dialogue. We can have that peace. Because you know, and I know, and we all know, peace has been destroyed mainly by you and your department.
Well, you're fully entitled to that. I disagree with you.
Sure, of course.
But again, I respect what you have to say.
So I hate to interrupt, Sheriff and but you know, the sheriff was willing to come out and talk to you because, as I shared with him with our entire group, we can't represent you. You have some legitimate concerns and that needs to be addressed for the sheriff. What I did ask the sheriff to do is to come out here as a gesture of good faith, to show you that he also empathized with what you're going through. But in order for the Hmong community and also the government here, particularly the sheriff's department, to move forward, I think that you and the sheriff need to be our leaders to sit down and talk. And so I have asked the sheriff to extend an invitation to you to speak one-on-one, but more importantly right now, you know, if it's okay with Sheriff, maybe you guys can take this at a different time, but out of respect, I don't want to.
If I may interrupt, Steve, this guy's got all the time he's got. He doesn't have a lot of time because he's been here for 14 days, and he's going on day 14. His body may break down any day now, so time is of the essence. And so I know that the sheriff may be very busy.
In future, I understand that.
But
I want to make it clear to you that this is an effort that the sheriff is expending.
Sure, and we thank him.
It's to honor what Zurg has asked us.
Right.
You know, as we respected that, we went in and we said, Zurg has to do
right.
And in order for us to solve this, our leaders, Zurg and the sheriff, need to come together.
Yeah,
and so,
I agree.
you know, because just like you, I don't live here.
Right.
And I'm coming here from somewhere else.
Sure.
I think it's important for the community members here to resolve it.
I agree.
And so even though, you know, I recognize the urgency, you know, I obviously can see Zurg is suffering, you know, and I don't know, you know, the availabilities of the sheriff. I mean, this conversation could take place elsewhere, you know, privately, but I think that's important.
Absolutely. Sheriff, and I just want to ask you, can you give us your word? Can we do this sooner than later? His body is deteriorating. I'm concerned about his health.
Do what?
Have the conversation.
Because
yeah.
I want us to wait until
Tomorrow
Friday,
Whenever.
next week,
Tomorrow, there we go.
a month from now. I
Yeah,
want it to
tomorrow.
be tomorrow.
Yes.
And I get it. Surrounding here, it's tough to have that conversation.
How about not now?
Because
Why not now?
this is no, and I respect you for coming out here.
Absolutely.
I appreciate that, and I mean everything that you guys have done for us. So I think that this is a conversation that needs to be had
Privately.
with a lot of time. Tomorrow.
It can be privately, but I need people there to
Well,
watch
yeah,
me
you're gonna
mentally.
have some people around you too, but
Take
not-
notes. You
That's
obviously can have your
Yeah.
some people there too, so that we have eyes on our conversation and our discussions. But yeah, we can do that. Yeah, I understand that you're in a hostile environment.
Yes.
Right now.
Oh, how do you?
No, actually,
If I may,
very
if
hostile.
I may,
Hostile.
I just want to add that, you know, the conversation that we had with Sheriff, you know, what, 2-3 hours?
At his
you know,
office.
he's
At the
very
office.
open. He's a very, seems like a really honest man. Obviously, he doesn't have a family yet, but he's working on that. So with that conversation, he's more than willing to communicate with our community and starting with you, Zurg. And I think that's a great start. And you know, as Marilyn said, you guys are going to be our champion with this to bring resolution to all of us. So just bear in mind that he doesn't hold all the solutions. He doesn't make all the decisions to fix all of the issues that we have. Make sure we bear in mind in that, because that's the fact.
So since you mentioned 2 to 3 hours of conversation, why don't you share that with us? Can you?
Sure, we can do that, but again, this is probably out of respect for the sheriff's time, his time, and everyone else. We can take the conversation elsewhere.
So how do we schedule that conversation with you?
Just either come over to the office or I can
What
check
time's
in
good for you,
tomorrow.
Sheriff?
We can do
I
it
have
tomorrow.
to look.
Okay.
Honestly, what's
Okay.
going on tomorrow, but yeah.
Is there a number, a direct number we can get a hold of you? Do we have to meet with somebody? We just want to make sure we get an appointment in.
I'll be
I don't
here
want to be like,
tomorrow.
hey, Sheriff is all booked tomorrow. You know what I mean?
No, I'm not going to do that to
can
you.
arrange that.
Yeah.
Peter.
There we
arrange
go.
We
that.
want to just make sure that this is
Let
arranged.
Peter arrange that.
Yeah.
Well, I think if that's going to be in private, why don't the two of them arrange it themselves? Because they know their time better than anyone else does.
We obviously know
They can't
Zurg's
They can't
availability.
Zurg's available 24/7.
I suppose, yeah, that's
right.
Right.
It's all you know, the sheriff here. So we can definitely take that. We'll be more than willing to have that open dialogue and conversation. I understand, you know, in respect to your time, everybody's time here. We want to make sure that we have this dialogue, this conversation. We want to make sure that this is a great conversation between you and the local community. Okay. So.
Yeah, we have to make sure that we can actually get there. We have to make sure that our discussion is transparent.
Right,
Yes.
right. That's the number one thing.
Never
Right.
had no,
Completely transparent.
no.
Yeah. I want to, when you say no water, but where I live, I see a guy, American guy, deliver water every day to American family. And how could they use 4,000 gallons every other day?
Well, if you see people violating the law, it doesn't matter what color the skin, just call them in, report them. Yeah, I'm just saying, you know, I mean, you guys have to understand that I'm being totally honest here. No, but let me finish. Color does not matter for any of us. That is something I am 100% against. Racism.
I kind of disagree. We live in
Yeah,
a
but
community.
this is what he
No,
told
but
me.
that is my
He said
opinion.
we cannot
We're not gonna
deliver
gas
water
like
to
that.
the Hmong people, but we can deliver water to American people as much as we want.
He said
That's
that?
what he told me.
Can you say that again?
Yeah.
What did he say to you?
He said we cannot deliver
Hey,
water
Zurg.
to
Getting way out of
Hmong people.
control.
Sorry to interrupt. Did you prefer to set the time
please
with just you and them,
You
or
want me to come by tomorrow?
what do you prefer?
come back
Yeah, Sheriff, yeah, come by tomorrow.
Okay.
Come by tomorrow.
Okay. Thank you, Sheriff. Thank you so much. Let's end this conversation here in respect of the time. Yeah. No more question, please.
They'll pick it up on their own.
No more question, please.
Okay.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Good job. Hey.
Oh, I know. We got a lot of time. This ain't for shits and giggles. Don't just come by to smile at us and pretend like you did something.
Right.
Better gas.
No. Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah. Let's go see what they're gonna say. Oh, I know. No, the other one.
That's Zurg's sister.
Their sister? Okay.
Yeah.
Sandy. Okay.
I don't understand why they're short on time on a Sunday afternoon.
I don't get either. I don't get it either. So when you guys went over there, what did you guys talk about?
Pretty much, I make sure that, you know, none of us are representing what me and
Is there
Zurg
good for you? This is
fighting
Tong.
for-
Tong's been working with Zurg since
So-
day one. Tong, Snow, and Zurg, and the local
I did have
folks.
a couple of good questions in there.
Good,
We
good.
did talk about mainly everything that comes back into Larue points back into just the marijuana grow. But once we start talking about the whole marijuana.
Okay, hold on a second. Let me just show who's walking with Larue away. This is the. They're going back to the office. So Sheriff Larue and some local folks are walking away. Well, some out-of-town guests are walking away. This was a random meeting where they came in and some folks from out of town from the Sacramento area came in and they arranged to meet with Sheriff. And so we now have it on record. Did you feel good about the meeting earlier?
Earlier? Yeah, it's great because the meeting earlier, pretty much what they're doing is trying to build the bridge or add to make connections.
Okay.
More than anything else, there's a couple of things that I did ask, like about the dog.
Yeah.
Okay? He knows that there was a dog in there. But
What did he say about? Did he even confirm that the dog was alive?
He confirmed that he's not sure if the dog was even shot or if it was even injured. But he does know that there was a dog in the vehicle.
Okay.
Now, animal control took it over, but they all failed to report that there was a dog in the vehicle.
Right.
According to the family, the dog was shot in the leg, but again, they failed to cover that incident to the community. But other than that, it's pretty much going back and forth between marijuana grow, legal grow, and things like that.
Yeah, he's gonna make it about pot. It's not about
Right,
pot.
it's not about pot.
It's about race.
When he start talking about the states and the county with 12, we had nothing talking about medical cannabis or medical patient cannabis. When I brought that up, he brought up pretty good. Okay, so if you have that, there's ways to do it, and it is now it becomes not illegal.
So he tried to shift the conversation, make it about pot, and then he tried. Is it, in your opinion, did he try to avoid the questions about the shooting and about race and about racial profiling?
He claims he's not racist.
Of course, I mean,
racist. But I did ask that question as well.
But the policies are racist that he supports.
Right, the policies are racist.
Let's go check in with Zurg.
His claims on his Facebook page, the sheriff's Facebook page, are racist. Saying everyone, all agents are Asian cartels and Asian mafias. I did point that out as well, but he says no. He didn't say such a thing. But we all seen it.
Hey man, I just want to say great job. Proud of you.
Like I said, I haven't.
So, all right, we're gonna sign out now. So I was supposed to be heading back to Sacramento, but I'm glad I stuck around. They a group from outside of this community came in and met with Sheriff Larue, and then now they brought down the street at the sheriff's office, which is a block and a half away, and then they came and they met with Zurg. And so apparently we are getting somewhere. Thanks to all of you who've been writing letters and sharing and helping us make some noise about this. This is the first time that Sheriff Larue and Zurg met. So this is the first time Sheriff Larue and Zurg met. So apparently they're gonna meet sometime tomorrow. So I guess we'll see where we go from here. But you saw it. I didn't have a chance to intro the video. I just happened to be here, and I said, you know what, why not go live? Because we've been going live with the protests all along yesterday. So, but I'm really proud of this brother. He stood his ground, and I guess we'll see what happens tomorrow. We have some things we have to talk about off camera, but man, thank you, all of you who are watching. You're supporting Brother Zurg Xiong. All right.